Hello. Thank you for watching the American Sign Language Interpreted Sample Ballot for the November 6, 2018 general election. Please note, the following is a strict transliteration of the ballot, and it follows the order of El Paso County sample ballot. We do not provide an interpretation of the meaning or intent of any ballot question. We understand some ballot language may be difficult to comprehend. Please excuse any perceived errors and grammar due to the complex nature of many of the questions. Official sample ballot for El Paso County, November 6th, 2018 general election. Federal offices. Representative to the 116th United States Congress, District 5. Vote for 1. Stephanie Rose Spalding, Democratic. Doug Lamborn, Republican. Douglas Randall, Libertarian. Write-in. State offices. Governor, Lieutenant Governor. Vote for 1 pair. Jared Polis and Diane Primavera, Democratic. Walker Stapleton and Lang Size, Republican. Bill Hammonds, Eric Bodstad, Unity. Scott Heckler, Michael Ploeg, Libertarian. Secretary of State, vote for 1. Wayne Williams, Republican. Jenna Griswold, Democratic. Amanda Campbell, American Constitution. Blake Herber, approval voting. State Treasurer, vote for 1. Brian Watson, Republican. David Young, Democratic. Gerald F. Kilpatrick, American Constitution. Attorney General, vote for 1. Phil Weiser, Democratic. George Branchler, Republican. William F. Robinson III, Libertarian. Regent of the University of Colorado, at large. Vote for 1. Leslie Smith, Democratic. Ken Montera, Republican. Christopher E. Otwell, Unity. James K. Trebert, Libertarian.
Hold on, cut.
Regent of the University of Colorado, Congressional District 5. Vote for 1. Tony Woluski, Democratic. Chauncey Hill, Republican. State Senator, District 2. Vote for 1. Beth Hart Hars, Democratic. Dennis Hissey, Republican. State Senator, District 9. Vote for 1. Gil Armendariz, Democratic. Paul London, Republican. State Senator, District 11. Vote for 1. Pete Lee, Democratic. Pat McIntyre, Republican. State Representative, District 14. Vote for 1. Shane Sandridge, Republican. Paul J. Haddock, Democratic. State Representative, District 15. Vote for 1. Brenda Cross, Democratic. Dave Williams, Republican. State Representative, District 16. Vote for 1. Andrew Smith, Democratic. Larry G. Linston, Republican. John Hershman, Libertarian. State Representative, District 17. Vote for 1. Kit Rope, Republican. Thomas Tony Exum Sr., Democratic. State Representative, District 18, vote for 1. Mary Elizabeth Fabian, Republican. Mark A. Snyder, Democratic. Molly Foster, Independent. State Representative, District 19, vote for 1. Tim Geithner, Republican. Asia M. Zanders, Democratic. State Representative, District 20, vote for 1. Terry Carver, Republican. Kent Edward Jarring, Democratic. State Representative, District 21, vote for 1. Lois Landgraf, Republican. Liz Rosenbaum, Democratic. County offices. El Paso County Commissioner, District 1. Vote for 1. Frank J. Delala, Democratic. Holly Williams, Republican. El Paso County Commissioner, District 5. Cami Bremer, Republican. Carrie Frederick, Democratic. County Clerk and Recorder, vote for 1. Chuck Browerman, Republican. Elizabeth Lisa Welks, Democratic. County Treasurer, vote for 1. Mark Louderman, Republican. Julie Torres, Democratic. County Assessor, vote for 1. Stephen Scheichler, Republican. Sue McKnight, Democratic. County Sheriff, vote for 1. Bill Elder, Republican. Grace A. Sweeney Maurer, Democratic. County Surveyor, vote for 1. Destarte Ashley Hound, Democratic. Richard E. Mariotti, Republican. County Coroner, vote for 1. Chauncey Frederick, Democratic. Leon Kelly, Republican. Municipality Offices, Town of Monument Trustee, vote for 1. Ann Howe, Jim Romanello, Kenneth W. Kimple. Colorado Supreme Court Justice. Vote yes or no. Shall Justice Richard L. Gabriel of Colorado Supreme Court be retained in office? Yes or no? Colorado Court of Appeals Judge. Vote yes or no. Shall Judge John Daniel Daly of the Colorado Court of Appeals be retained in office? Shall Judge Rebecca Rankin Fryer of Colorado Court of Appeals be retained in office? Shall Judge Elizabeth L. Harris of the Colorado Court of Appeals be retained in office? Shall Judge David J. Richmond of the Colorado Court of Appeals be retained in office? District Court Judge, 4th Judicial District. Vote yes or no. Shall Judge Eric Bentley of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office. Shall Judge Linda Margaret Billings Vela of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office. Shall Judge Jill M. Brady of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? Shall Judge Robert L. Lowry of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? Shall Judge Timothy Schutz of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? Shall Judge Larry Ed Schwartz of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? Shall Judge Scott A. Sales of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? Shall Judge David L. Shakes of the 4th Judicial District be retained in office? County Court Judge El Paso, vote yes or no. Shall Judge Christopher Edward Aker of El Paso County Court be retained in office? Shall Judge Lawrence D. Martin of El Paso County Court be retained in office? Shall Judge Douglas J. Miles of El Paso County Court be retained in office? Shall Judge Ann M. Rotolo of El Paso County Court be retained in office? Questions or measures? Ballot questions referred by the General Assembly or any political subdivision are listed by letter, and ballot questions initiated by the people are listed numerically. A ballot question listed as an amendment proposes a change to the Colorado Constitution, and a ballot question listed as a proposition proposes a change to the Colorado Revised Statutes. A yes for vote on any ballot question is a vote in favor of changing current law or existing circumstances. A no against vote on any ballot question is a vote against changing current law or existing circumstances. State measures. Amendment V, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning a reduction in the age qualification for a member of the General Assembly from 25 years to 21 years? Yes for, no against. Amendment W, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning a change in the format of the election ballot for judicial retention elections? Yes for, no against. Amendment X, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning changing the industrial hemp definition from a constitutional definition to a statutory definition? Yes for, no against. Amendment Y, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning a change to the way that congressional districts are drawn, and in connection therewith taking the duty to draw congressional districts away from the state legislature and giving it to an independent commission composed of 12 citizens who possess specified qualifications, prohibiting any one political party's control of the commission by requiring that 1/3 of commissioners will not be affiliated with any political party. 1/3 of the commissioners will be affiliated with the state's largest political party, and 1/3 of commissioners will be affiliated with the state's second largest political party, prohibiting certain persons, including professional lobbyists, federal campaign committee employees, and federal, state, and local elected officials from serving on the commission. Limiting judicial review of a map to determination by the Supreme Court of Review whether the commission or its nonpartisan staff committed an abuse of discretion, requiring the commission to draw districts with a focus on communities of interest and political subdivisions, such as cities and counties, and then to maximize the number of competitive congressional seats to the extent possible, and prohibiting maps from being drawn to dilute the electoral influence of any racial or ethnic group, to protect any incumbent, any political candidate, or any political party. Yes for, no against. Amendment Z, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning a change to the manner in which state Senate and state House representative districts are drawn, and in connection therewith reforming the existing legislative reapportionment commission by expanding the commission to 12 members and authorizing the appointment of members who possess specified qualifications, prohibiting any one political party's control of the commission by requiring that 1/3 of commissioners will not be affiliated with any political party. 1/3 of the commissioners will be affiliated with the state's largest political party, and 1/3 of the commissioners will be affiliated with the state's second largest political party, prohibiting certain persons, including professional lobbyists, federal campaign committee employees, and federal, state, and local elected officials from serving on the commission, limiting judicial review of a map to a determination by the Supreme Court of whether the commission or its nonpartisan staff committed an abuse of discretion, requiring the commission to draw state legislative districts using communities of interest as well as political subdivisions, such as cities and counties, and then to maximize the number of competitive state legislative seats to the extent possible, and prohibiting maps from being drawn to dilute the electoral influence of any racial or ethnic group, to protect any incumbent, any political candidate, or any political party. Yes for, no against. Amendment A, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution that prohibits slavery and involuntary servitude as punishment for a crime, and thereby prohibits slavery, and involuntary servitude in all circumstances. Yes, for, no, against. Amendment 73, constitutional. Shall the state taxes be increased 1.6 billion annually by an amendment to the Colorado Constitution and a change to the Colorado Revised Statutes concerning funding relating to preschool through high school public education, and in connection therewith creating an exception to the single rate state income tax for revenue that is dedicated to the funding of public schools, increasing income tax rates incrementally for individuals, trusts, and estates using 4 tax brackets starting at 0.37% for income above $150,000 and increasing to 3.62% for income above $500,000. Increasing the corporate income tax rate by 1.37% for purposes of school district property taxes, reducing the current residential assessment rate of 7.2% to 7%, and the current non-residential assessment rate of 29% to 24%, requiring the revenue from the income tax increases to be deposited in a dedicated public education fund and allowing the revenue collected to be retained and spent as voter-approved revenue changes. Requiring the legislature to annually appropriate money from the fund to school districts to support early childhood through high school public educational programs on an equitable basis throughout the state without decreasing general fund appropriations. Directing the legislature to enact, regularly review, and revise when necessary a new public school finance law that meets specified criteria until the legislature has enacted a new public school finance law, requiring the money in the fund to be annually appropriated for specified education programs and purposes, requiring the money in the fund to be used to support only public schools, requiring general fund appropriations for public education to increase by inflation up to 5% annually, and requiring the Department of Education to commission a study of the use of the money in the fund within 5 years. Yes, for, no, against. Amendment 74, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution requiring the government to award just compensation to owners of private property when a government law or regulation reduces the fair market value of the property? Yes for, no against. Amendment 75, constitutional. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution providing that if any candidate in a primary or general election for state office directs more than $1 million in support of his or her own election, then every candidate for that office in the same election may accept 5 times the amount of campaign contributions normally allowed. Yes for, no against. Proposition 109, statutory. Shall state debt be increased $3.5 billion with a maximum repayment cost of $5.2 billion without raising taxes or fees by a change to the Colorado Revised Statutes requiring the issuance of transportation revenue anticipation notes, and in connection therewith, note proceeds shall be retained as a voter-approved revenue change and used exclusively to fund specified road and bridge expansion, construction, maintenance, and repair projects throughout the state. Yes for, no against. Proposition 110, statutory. Shall state taxes be increased $766,700,000 annually for a 20-year period, and state debt be increased $6 billion with a maximum repayment cost of $9.4 billion to pay for state and local transportation projects, and in connection therewith, changing the Colorado Revised Statute. 2. Number 1. Increasing state sales and use tax rate by 0.62% beginning January 1st, 2019, requiring 45% of the new revenue to fund state transportation safety, maintenance, and congestion-related projects. 40% to fund municipal and county transportation projects, and 15% to fund multimodal transportation projects, including bike, pedestrian, and transit infrastructure. Number 2. Authorize the issuance of additional transportation revenue anticipation notes to fund priority state transportation maintenance and construction projects, including multimodal capital projects. And number 3, provide that all revenue resulting from the tax rate increase and proceeds from issuance of revenue anticipation notes are voter-approved revenue changes, exempt from the state or local revenue, spending, or other limitations in law. Vote yes for, no against. Proposition 111, statutory. Shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Revised Statutes concerning limitations on payday lenders and in connection therewith reducing allowable charges on payday loans to an annual percentage rate of no more than 36%? Yes for, no against. Proposition 112, statutory. Shall there be a change to the Colorado Revised Statutes concerning a statewide minimum distance requirement for new oil and gas development, and in connection therewith, changing existing distance requirements to require that any new oil and gas development be located at least 2,500 feet from any structure intended for human occupancy and any other area designated by the measure, the state or local government, and authorizing the state or local government to increase the minimum distance requirement. Yes for, no against. County measures. El Paso County, 1A. Without raising additional taxes, shall the existing 0.23% public safety sales and use tax be extended to January 1st, 2029, with the only other change to the conditions of said tax to be modification of the public safety purposes for which the revenues generated may be used to allow the maintenance, repair, and replacement of supplies, equipment, vehicles, and facilities, such purposes to be limited to the following. Number 1, continuing law enforcement needs. Hiring, training, and equipping patrol deputies, investigators, and civilian support staff. Next, conducting fire and criminal investigations. Next, maintaining and repairing communications equipment and replacing it as it becomes obsolete or wears out. Next, purchasing ammunition, fuel, and other operational supplies and equipment, including replacement of vehicles as they wear out. Number 2, criminal justice needs. Hiring, employing, training, and equipping detention deputies, civilian detention security personnel, and support staff to assure adequate staffing to maintain inmate and personnel safety in the county jail. Next, conducting criminal extradition, Next, maintaining and repairing video surveillance and video visitation systems and replacing them as they become obsolete. Next, purchasing operational equipment and supplies. Next, addressing additional security, safety, operations, and maintenance cost at the county jail. Number 3, emergency response needs. Hiring, employing, and training wildland fire and staff, and funding emergency response and mitigation efforts. Next, maintaining the Emergency Vehicle Response Center. Next, purchasing fire and emergency services equipment, maintaining wildland fire trucks and replacing wildland fire trucks as they wear out. With such public safety sales and use tax being collected, administered, and enforced pursuant to El Paso County Board of County Commissioners Resolution Numbers 12-309 amended and 18-353. Yes for, no against. Municipality Measures. Town of Palmer Lake, 2A. Shall the Town of Palmer Lake taxes be increased by $500,000 in the first fiscal year and by whatever additional amounts are raised annually thereafter, by imposing an additional sales tax of 5% on the sale of retail, recreational marijuana and recreational marijuana products as defined in the Colorado Retail Marijuana Code, conditioned on the town allowing and regulating the sale of retail, recreational marijuana, and retail, recreational marijuana products by separate action, with the rate of such tax being allowed to be decreased or increased on or after December 31st, 2020. Without further voter approval, so long as the rate of the tax does not exceed 10%, with the revenues derived from such tax to be collected and spent to promote the general purposes of the Town of Palmer Lake as a voter-approved revenue change, notwithstanding any revenue or expenditure limitations contained in Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution, Article 1 of Title 29, Colorado Revised Statutes, or any other law. Yes for, no against. Town of Palmer Lake, 2B. Shall the Town of Palmer Lake Municipal Code be amended to permit the sale of retail, also known as adult use or recreational marijuana, and to license and regulate the same as set forth in proposed ordinance 14 of 2018, available on the town's website and at town hall offices. Yes for, no against. City of Fountain, 2C. Without increasing taxes, shall the City of Fountain have the authority to provide or to facilitate or partner or coordinate with service providers for the provision of advanced high-speed internet service, cable television service, and telecommunication service, either directly, indirectly, or by contract to residential, commercial, nonprofit, government, or other subscribers, and to acquire, operate, and maintain any facility for the purpose of providing such services, restoring local authority and flexibility that was taken away by Title 29, Article 27, Part 1 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. Yes for, no against. Town of Green Mountain Falls, 3A. Shall the town of Green Mountain Falls taxes be increased to $32,522 annually in 2019, and by whatever additional amounts are collected annually thereafter, by the adoption of a lodging occupational tax of up to $4.50 per day per occupied room on the provision of hotel rooms and other similar accommodations in town. And shall the town be authorized to collect and spend the full proceeds of such tax without limitation and without limiting the expenditure of any other revenues or funds under Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution. Yes for, no against. Town of Green Mountain Falls, 3B. In order to save money on the cost of publication, shall the town elect not to publish in the newspapers its proceedings related to payments of bills, contracts awarded, and rebates allowed, with such information being reported publicly, at least monthly, as part of the Board of Trustee meeting packets. Yes for, no against. Town of Green Mountain Falls, 3C. In order to save money on the cost of publication, Shall town ordinances, after they are adopted, be published in the newspaper by title only, with the full text of all such ordinances being made available for public review at Town Hall and, when possible, on the town's website. Yes for, no against. Town of Green Mountain Falls. 3D. Shall the number of town trustees be reduced in number from 6 to 4? Yes for, no against. School district measures. Lewis Palmer School District, number 38. 4A. Shall Lewis Palmer Consolidated School District number 38 taxes be increased up to $1 million annually, commencing in collection year 2019 through and including December 31st, 2025. Pursuant to and in accordance with Section 22-54-108 Colorado Revised Statute. Such additional revenues to be deposited in the general fund and used for educational purposes, including but not limited to. Next, increasing safety and security at all existing elementary, middle, and high schools, including Monument Academy Charter School, by hiring additional staff members devoted to the safety and security of students and to provide ongoing safety training to all staff. Next, and shall the district be authorized to collect, retain, and spend all revenues from such taxes and the earnings from the investment of such revenues as a voter-approved revenue change and an exception to the limits which would otherwise apply under Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution or any other law. Yes for, no against. Lewis Palmer School District number 38, 4B. Shall Lewis Palmer Consolidated School District number 38 debt be increased $36.5 million with the repayment cost of not more than $66.3 million, and shall district taxes be increased not more than $5.2 million annually, and shall such debt be issued for capital improvement purposes, including but not limited to making safety and security enhancements to all district school buildings, including Monument Academy Charter School, constructing and equipping a new elementary school, such debt to be evidenced by the issuance and payment of general obligation bonds, which shall bear interest, mature, be subject to redemption, with or without premium of not to be exceeded 3%, and be issued, dated, and sold at such times, at such prices, and in such manner, and containing such terms, not inconsistent herewith, as the district may determine, and shall ad valorem property taxes be levied in any year without limitations as to rate, to pay the principal of premium, if any, and interest on such bonds and reserves for the payment thereof, provided that such levy shall not produce revenue which exceeds the amounts set forth above. Yes for, no against. El Paso County, Colorado School District 49, 4C. In order to decrease the current mill levy, override rate of 19.081 mills to 18.500 mills, shall School District 49 mill levy override taxes be $16.5 million in 2018 for collection in 2019, and whatever amounts as may be generated annually thereafter, by the imposition of a mill levy not to exceed 18.500 mills for the purposes approved by voters in 2014 and 2016. Yes for, no against. Ellicott School District number 22, 4D. Shall Ellicott School District number 22 debt be increased $4.37 million with the repayment cost of up to $7.9 million, and shall district taxes be increased by up to $575,000 annually by the issuance of general obligation bonds to finance the cost of one or more of the following purposes, with the ability of the district to complete all such purposes to depend upon the availability of state financial assistance, which is not required to be repaid under the BEST program. Next, addressing safety, security, and educational deficiencies in all school facilities, including but not limited to creating secure entrances at the elementary school and high school. Next, improving accessibility at schools and addressing other compliance issues under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Next, modernizing, updating, renovating and equipping school facilities, including a cafeteria expansion at the elementary school and additional classroom construction at the high school. Next, and to the extent of available funds, constructing an auxiliary practice gym for students and community use, as well as track resurfacing, which general obligation bonds shall bear interest. Mature, be subject to redemption with or without premium, and be issued at such time, at such price, at such terms, not inconsistent with this ballot issue, as the Board of Education may determine, and shall ad valorem property taxes be levied without limit as to the mill rate to generate an amount sufficient in each year to pay the principal of premium, if any, and interest on such debt, and to fund any reserves for the payment thereof. Yes for, no against. Harrison School District Number 2, 4E. Shall El Paso County School District Number 2 debt be increased $180 million with the repayment cost of not more than $335 million, and shall district taxes be increased not more than $16.2 million annually, and shall such debt be issued for capital improvement purposes, including but not limited to. Next, providing improvements and renovations to all existing schools and facilities. Next, improving security, safety, technology, and ADA compliance at all schools and for all students. Next, expanding Soaring Eagles Elementary School and Sand Creek International Elementary, turning each into K through 8 schools. Building a new up-to-date facility for Carmel Middle School, and the district shall ensure accountability with the Citizens Oversight Committee, which shall annually review and report to the public on the use of funds. Next, such debt to be evidenced by the issuance and payment of general obligation bonds, which shall bear interest, mature, be subject to redemption, with or without premium, not to exceed 3%, and be issued, dated, and sold at such time or times at such prices at or below par, and in such manner and containing such terms not inconsistent herewith, as the district may determine, and shall ad valorem property taxes be levied in any year without limitation as to rate to pay the principal of premium, if any, and interest on such bonds and any bonds issued to refinance such bonds, to fund any reserves for the payment thereof. And shall the district's debt limit be increased from an amount equal to 20% of the district's assessed value to an amount equal to 6% of the district's actual value, as certified by the El Paso County Assessor, and shall such tax revenues and the earnings from the investment of such bond proceeds and tax revenues be collected, retained, and spent as a voter-approved revenue change under Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution or any other law. Yes for, no against. Manitou Springs School District, number 14, 4F. May Manitou Springs School District, number 14, collect the property tax revenues permitted by Colorado Revised Statutes 22-54-108 as previously approved by district voters in 2015, notwithstanding any mill levy limitations. Yes for, no against. Special District Measures. Tri-View Metropolitan District 6A. Without increasing the current tax rate of 35 mills, shall Tri-View Metropolitan District collect up to $3.2 million in property tax revenue in 2019, and such amount as generated annually thereafter by levying up to the existing 35 mills, and use the revenues from the levy for the payment of debt and for the payment of general operations, maintenance, and or capital acquisition purposes of the district, which may include Jackson Creek Parkway expansion, street overlays and improvements, replacing damaged curbs, gutters, and sidewalks, improving parks and open space, including maintenance and construction of trails, park facilities such as gazebos, playground equipment, and irrigation systems. Repairing and maintaining drainage facilities, acquiring renewable water rights, acquiring, participating in, and or constructing regional water projects. Providing that nothing herein affects the ability of the district to increase the mill levy if necessary to pay debt service on its debt. Provided further that after the district's debt is no longer outstanding, the district may continue to impose 10 mills annually for ongoing operations, maintenance, and/or capital purposes. And shall the proceeds of such revenue and investment earnings thereon be collected and spent without limitation or condition, and without limiting the collection or spending of any other district revenues or funds under Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution, the annual 5.5% property tax revenue limitation set forth in Section 29-1-301 of Colorado Revised Statutes or any other law. Yes for, no against. Falcon Fire Protection District. 6B. Shall Falcon Fire Protection District's taxes be increased $2,398,065 annually, beginning in levy year 2018, by increasing the district's existing property tax by 6.274 mills for a total mill levy of 14.886 mills to be used by the district for the purpose of providing proper fire protection, emergency response, and safety for the residents, property owners, and businesses served by the district, including but not limited to implementing a full service in-district advanced life support ambulance service operated by the district to improve 911 response times for medical emergencies, and strategically adding firefighters and EMTs at each of the district's staffed fire stations to address increased emergency call volume and to maintain emergency services. All revenue and any earnings on this tax constituting a permanent voter-approved revenue change within the meaning of Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution, and an exception to the limitations set forth in Section 29-1-301 of the Colorado Revised Statutes and any other law. Yes for, no against. Black Forest Fire Rescue Protection District. 6C. Shall Black Forest Fire Rescue Protection District taxes be increased $550,000 in 2019, and by such amount as may be collected annually thereafter by the imposition of an additional mill levy of up to 5.275 285 mills. For general operating purposes, including but not limited to: number 1, maintaining timely emergency services and 911 response times. Number 2, attracting and retaining experienced first responders and mitigating costly turnover rates. Number 3, fully staffing fire stations, 2 with an emergency response duty crew, and funding long-term apparatus replacement schedule to allow for timely replacement of fire apparatus. And shall the district's total mill levy of up to 14.5 mills be subject to adjustment annually thereafter to offset revenue losses from refunds, abatements, and any change to the percentage of actual valuation used to determine assessed valuation, so that tax revenues collected are not less than what would been collected had any such change not occurred. Yes for, no against. Ellicott Fire Protection District, 6D. Shall the Ellicott Fire Protection District taxes be increased by $152,174 in fiscal year 2019, and by whatever tax revenues are generated by ad valorem property tax mill levy rate in each fiscal year thereafter, not to exceed an increased mill levy of 5.5 mills for a total mill levy not to exceed 15.016 mills in each fiscal year thereafter, with the increased mill levy to be appropriated between the labor fund, general operating, and the project fund for the ongoing operation and maintenance of fire protection services, and shall the proceeds of such taxes and any investment income thereon be collected, retained, and spent by the district in fiscal year 2019 and in each fiscal year thereafter. Such authorization to constitute a voter-approved revenue change, which may be collected, retained, and spent by the district without regard to any spending, revenue raising, or other limitation contained in Article X, Section 20 of the Colorado Constitution, the limits imposed on increases in property taxation by Section 29-1-301 Colorado Revised Statutes in any year or any other law which purports the limit to the district's revenue or expenditures as it currently exists or as it may be amended in the future, all without limiting in any year the amount of other revenues that may be collected, retained, and spent by the district. Yes for, no against. Albert Fire Protection District 7A. Shall Albert Fire Protection District be authorized to adjust the operating mill levy beginning in 2020 and annually thereafter at a rate sufficient to generate up to $243,157.56, subject to annual adjustment for inflation and local growth for operations and other purposes. Yes for, no against.